Welcome to Three Men at a Table. All different tables, but we're all sitting at a table. I'm actually standing right now. But it's
Oh,
episode one with Alexis. We do need to change your thing to say Alex, unless you want to go by Alexis.
it doesn't matter. We can,
Shawn
whatever.
can. We'll come up with nicknames after this.
Yeah, we
Uh,
can do that too.
Shawn the Destroyer can. I don't know. That's not a really good nickname. But this is the very first episode of Three Men at a Table. And so I got to kick it off and just really go into a lot of what you're going to be expecting with this. Hopefully, good stuff. Hopefully, this isn't a one and done thing. We got really excited about trying to set this thing up. So, um, welcome to the table, right? So that's where we're at. Why we started this podcast. So, Shawn, Alexis, and I were sitting around. I don't know. I think it was last week, right before the holiday, the 4th, just kind of like brainstorming, what could we be doing better to like help educate people in our neighborhood? Not like street neighborhood, but like, DFW, right? How can we take all the knowledge that we have, all the things that we're doing um in life and business and mortgages and real estate and just kind of like put together and package something really beautiful to help other people and then in turn like have fun with it and um I think we'll have some interviews with I think the big goal with this is to have interviews with like real estate agents and salespeople and other industry professionals, inspectors, and really get perspective from a lot of different people um as they're doing stuff real estate. So I wouldn't necessarily, Shawn, unless you like would say, but I wouldn't necessarily say this is like a real estate agent or real estate only podcast, but like it's because we're mortgages, maybe it's going to
Yeah,
lean towards real estate. I
I
mean,
mean,
there are,
I think the goal is to kind of introduce ourselves and let the people know who we really are and what we want to do in our communities and by being in real estate, like what our goals are,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
this is just a way for us to get together and talk about something we know, but I'm sure it'll branch out into other things as well.
yeah, yeah. I was talking to my buddy Joel who does wine sales. Well, I think it was last year when I was like really trying to figure out, do I want to do a podcast? And I was asking him if he wanted to be on. Now I'm going to ask him again now that we're officially doing it. He's like, man, I don't know anything about real estate. I was like, yeah, but you're in sales, and so I think we'll have a mix of that stuff, in sales, so that we get a lot of people different perspectives with stuff. What
Yeah,
about you,
absolutely.
Alex? What was the reason? Why do we start this podcast?
Because it sounded cool.
Yeah, get
Yeah, I think
shame our beard growing.
yeah, to help show our personalities as well. I think that's people that don't know who we are.
Mhm.
Who's bugging them all the time, and
Yeah, right.
just kind of I guess just introduce ourselves to everybody.
Cool. All right. Well, there you go. That's why we started the podcast. Why three men at a table? I think very briefly and very quick with it. ChatGPT there's a fourth member here. If we were to have like if we were to say there's four people in our group, there's ChatGPT or AI is our fourth one. 3 men at a table sounded really good. It's not, it does, I don't think it like really positions us or puts us in a like too much of a corner, or it's only like real estate oriented
Yeah,
stuff. But it
for
sounded pretty
sure.
cool. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
think we
like
went
it.
through, there was like a couple different ones. Yeah, there's a couple different ones. Um, 3 men at a table. It has a nice ring to it, I mean, we're three dudes. Again, as I started out, we're three dudes. I think both of you guys are sitting and I'm standing. You guys are at tables. I have a desk. So like I think at all times that we're recording the podcast, at least somebody is going to be at a table of some sort, right? So like, yeah.
Well,
There
and it,
was
and it
a
has it has a nod to what we do, right? You go to the
yeah.
closing table, so this is
There
we're
you go. Yeah,
there we
that's
go. Yeah,
that's
we're
what it is.
we're three
That's what
men
it
at
is.
the table. We're helping people get to the table. It's all the things.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop moderating because your answers are a little bit better than mine. So Shawn, what can listeners expect from this podcast?
I mean, hopefully we're entertaining, right? Like I think in our general day to day, we're pretty fun guys. We like to laugh. You know, even though we're working together, and work can sometimes be stressful, I think that we bring a certain like morale every day. We just have a good time. Like, and we want to kind of bring our personalities, as Alex said, out in this show and show people what we're all about and why we enjoy doing what we do and working with people and getting to know new people all the time and why we're friends, you know, why we do this together.
Mhm. Why are we friends? What I
I
think
mean,
we'll get later into that. That's a little like how did we meet, right? The icebreakers of the first episode. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. What can
Well,
listeners expect, Alexis?
I guess for me, I think is education growth. Just learning more. I'm new also to the industry, so it's kind of helping me. In a since I'm in more of like a growth mindset, and also trying to learn more about the business. So I feel like this is a good time for not only us to educate our customers, and then when we bring realtors and have them educate them as well, we're also going to be learning as well too.
Yeah. No, and I think like that who's one of the questions that I wanted to kind of like kick this thing off was like who is this show for? Right? In
Yep.
my head, I think most of the stuff that we're going to be talking about is real estate investment strategies, mortgages, and all of that stuff that encompasses it. But like, who is this show for? Really, anybody who wants to gain. Hopefully, we'll put out some knowledge, but who wants to gain some entertainment, right? Laugh at three dudes, and then that would be like real estate agents, right? As we bring on investors or business owners or real estate agents, or I'd love to interview like some buyers, that we help out, or inspectors or insurance agents, right? A lot of people that are within our industry, and just kind of like get to know them a little bit, but more so kind of figure out what their business looks like. Because everybody in our industry, for those that do not know real estate, there are so many different like legs to the chair. There's so many different things that prop up what it means to buy a house or sell a house. And there's so many different, it's not a four-legged chair. It's like 15 legs, I think. I don't know. I'm throwing out a really high number. But it's to illustrate, that there's a lot of nuances that go on with it. I mean, right now I'm working on one uh where I'm trying to figure out, what we can do with the deal. This property has it has an easement, a utility easement that goes through the property. Like I'm looking at the survey and it's like it's got a utility easement going through the building of the property. Like, we're trying to figure out was it there when the building was built, all these other things. So I guess who the show is for, anybody that's interested in knowing mortgage and real estate and insurance and title stuff, because that's just we're going to have a lot of people on here talking about it and asking them about stuff. So,
well, hopefully we can bring some insight into just like that scenario you just mentioned, an easement running through a property that's dividing it and making it difficult for us to get through title and everything, right? Like
mhm.
those are things that we deal with all the time. And, I think we understand that there are hurdles that come along with this business, but I don't think the majority of people like realize what goes into it. They just see the front end stuff. I gave you my W-2s, my pay stubs, and my bank statements. I should be good, right?
Right.
And if,
Yeah.
if if only it was that easy, we would do a lot more business than we do because it's not that easy. There's so many factors that go into getting people into mortgages. So hopefully we can kind of shed some light on that too.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
I think also too, like for me, it's like I know it took me a while to get into the industry. Paul, Sean has been talking to me about it. Both of you guys have been talking about it for a while. Coming over from auto, but like I think this also too maybe people that we would have conversations about that as well, or people maybe like looking into joining the industry. Maybe some conversations would come up like that as well. That
Mhm.
would help,
Yeah.
either sway them one way or the other, in joining the mortgage industry and stuff like that. So, because I mean, it's definitely different for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even helped you buy your first
Yeah, you
house.
sure did.
Yeah.
You sure did.
Yeah.
Smooth process too.
It was smooth. Hey, look, listeners, we're all
Smooth
about
like
smooth
butter.
processes. Yes. Boss.
You didn't get to help me, but you weren't in the industry yet, so it's all
No,
good.
no, no.
Next time.
Yeah, next time, man.
So I think we want to kind of talk about like how we all got into this, and just start from the very beginning, like how we became friends, right? What
Mhm.
brought us to this table.
No.
So I guess we should start with you, Palmer, because you've been in the industry the longest, I feel like. So let's get your background. Like, tell us a little bit about where you grew up, your family, what you thought you'd be doing at this point in your life. Um, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then what we'll get to where what brought you here.
Dude, I will tell you, so I turned 40 this year, and I did not think I would be doing this. Like, in fact, this is when I was like in high school. This is the thing that I did not want to do. Like,
Skater boy Palmer.
not just mortgages, but like I wouldn't call it, I don't think what we do is like corporate. I mean, there's like, it's there's a massive, company, but like, we're having to wear a suit and tie and stuff like that. It wouldn't say corporate by any means, but like conforming to the machine, like I thought my trajectory with my life was either going to be professional skateboarder or a musician. And like, none of those happen, obviously. Here I am doing mortgages and finance, but I don't know. I always rebelled against the system. I still kind of do a little bit, but I grew up in Florida, small island called Amelia Island, and uphill in the snow both ways during the summer. No, I think it snowed once in Florida in like the 80s. But yeah, my mom got into real estate in '04, '05. No, no, '05. I think my parents got divorced in '04 when I graduated high school. And then mom got into real estate like '05, '06 or something like that. And I went and did the schooling with her. And she stuck with it and I didn't. It wasn't anything that I wanted to do. What I wanted to do instead was work at a restaurant and then party more so than actually, try to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So that's what I did, Uh and then so I moved over here to Dallas. So very quickly, like my degree from college, I ended up going to college. I went to like an accelerated college in Winter Park, Florida, Orlando, called Full Sail, and I got like my bachelor's was in entertainment business and law. It's just basically a science of bachelor's. They just slapped on a fancy title. And then my minor, my associate's was in audio engineering. So I wanted to kind of like continue to pursue that like mu music career. And so I graduated 2010, I think, from college around there and moved back home and tried to start a record label. And it was kind of funny because like I wanted I wanted to start like a rock or metal record label, but only people I could get to sign were like hardcore hip hop and rappers, and like I just didn't work. But like they were people that agreed to it. And anyways, it didn't work out. But a guy that I went to college with, shout out to Justin. If you ever watch this first episode, I'm gonna send him the recording
Yeah, he better watch
after
it.
this and be like, I gave you a shout. Yeah. See if you catch your name talking smack. Um he was originally from the area. And so he called me. We were trying to do like some side projects and stuff like that, through college. Like I remember this one idea that we had. We were doing it was called Classified Ad Musician. It was basically Craigslist website for buying and selling a music instrument, but also you could go on there and you could like set jobs. If you wanted to be, if you could teach piano, you could put your postings up, like job postings up there, And so we had this idea. We also had like IMDb, but for music, which now I think Pandora does it or Spotify does it. But we had this idea where we are going to have like this website where you not only could just find, like the name of the artist and like the producer credits, but you could also look at like who was the audio engineer, who was the mixer, who was like, and have like kind of like what IMDb gives you, like the entire staffing. So, anyways, he called me up one day and he's like, "Hey man, like I'm back in Dallas." He moved to California for a little bit. "I'm back in Dallas and I'm tired of doing like the commuting, for like our time difference." So my dad just bought an IT company over in Richardson. Come over and work for us, and then you and I can do our side business there. And so I did that for a little bit. And then went over to auto finance. That's where I met you guys at doing auto finance. Not gonna name their company. Not nothing
No,
again.
no.
Just, yeah, don't want to get sued.
Mhm.
I don't think they'll sue us, but like, yeah,
They better not
keep
sue
my
us.
name out. You know. Uh, and so, but I was miserable. I was miserable there. So I called my mom and I was like, I don't know what to do. I got to figure out something to do. And she was like, why don't you get into real estate? And like, that just was not me. I was not going to be able to, in my head, the avatar of what a real estate agent was. Like, I didn't feel confident that I could do it and pursue it,
Yeah.
especially in an area that I didn't know. So I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. She's like, well, why don't you do your mortgage stuff? Why don't you get in a mortgage? And I was like, all right. Well, I looked into it. Champions School down in Fort Worth. Shout out to Champions. They did a 2-week course online. And then I took the test, did all that stuff, federal test, and then I jumped into mortgage. So that's that's my story.
I feel like I remember the turning point when you like whenever you were done with the auto place, and it's like I think I even have a video of you passed out at your desk.
I was sleeping at my desk or something.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that.
And I was like, okay. Then it was like, I think like moments later, you're like, yeah, I'm quitting. I'm gonna do this program and become a loan officer. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely remember that.
I
Yeah.
don't remember the exact story, but I remember Palmer being done, and like he just when he made up his mind, he was gone. So, um,
What about you, Sean?
yeah, yeah. So like I grew up in DFW. I've been here my entire life, right? Never left. But grew up here. I worked a long time for my grandfather. He had a landscape business, and so I worked for him for like 10 years when I was between the ages of 16 and 25, right? And so that's really where I kind of cut my teeth in life and learning how to be at work on time every day. My grandfather was um he was a hard worker, and he was a military guy, so like, you know, you had to be 10 minutes early was on time every day kind of a thing, and so and to this day I'm still habitually late, unfortunately, but no, I mean he
I,
kind of but he definitely set the standards and showed me like what expectations I should have for myself in my work ethic, right? And so I learned a lot working for him for those 10 years, and it was really kind of hard to move on from that because at first there was kind of this expectation that I was going to take over the business, but working for family is always difficult. There's a lot of expectations that come with working for family, and then sometimes I feel like those get magnified as well because of the relationships there. And so there was a time where it kind of strained the relationship that I had with my grandfather. And I just realized like I want to kind of go out and blaze my own path. And so I bounced around for a while. I mean, it was hard to get away, but I did what I needed to do and got away, and he understood and eventually retired, which was kind of another reason I wanted to move on because I felt like he needed that to move on himself. And so then from there, I kind of was lost, in limbo in life for a little bit, but I ended up working at a uh at a hotel in downtown Fort Worth, and that's where I met Alex. And I came in right as he was leaving his full-time position because he had taken another job. And it was, I think, his first job in the finance realm. And so he had left, but he was still working on the weekends. And I came in working full time, but I was also working the weekends because the way that those shifts were, weekends was the best money. We were valet, so we worked off the tip. So you wanted to work the weekends. And so I got to know him there. We quickly just became fast friends. Like we realized we had a lot in common. We had the same
Same
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah, so and everybody always confused us for each other. I don't think we looked that much alike, but I mean, I guess to everyone there we did because people would always come up and be like, "Didn't I just talk to you?" And I was like, "No, you talked to Alex." And I'm sure you got a lot of that too. But um, yeah, we had a lot of great memories at that place. A lot of fun late nights, working ballet and on into the night, going to the bars and stuff. So that's how we kind of got to know each other and became friends. And then through that, I ended up meeting my daughter's mom. And um, when I had or found out that we were pregnant, I I wanted to do more with my life. So I was like, I don't think that working at a hotel is exactly what I need to be doing. And so that was kind of the moment that triggered in me that I could do more and I just needed to push myself to do more. So I reached out to Lex and I said, "Hey man, like, I want to get into something else. You seem to be enjoying your job and, in sales, and you think they would hire me on." And so he was like, "Yeah, let me put in a good word." And I ended up getting the position. And shortly thereafter, started working there, and that's where I eventually would meet you as well. Worked there for a couple years, and then after you left, um, you told us that you had gotten this new opportunity and that it was exciting, and you thought that it would be an opportunity for uh, me and Lex and even some of our other buddies to maybe come over and get into the mortgage space. And at that time, everybody else was hesitant, but I jumped at it, and part of the reason was because my ex was having our second child. So once again, like the need for more money, the desire to build a better um, life for my children is what eventually spurred me on to um, to try something new, to try something that was a little bit out of my comfort zone. It was a lot out of my comfort zone, to be honest, but it was without a doubt the best decision I've ever made. Um, and those are my two right there. So you can see that's my why, and that's the reason why I do everything I do. And so, anyways, that ended up leading me to a company where we worked together for, I guess, about 6 months. I got my license, and then there was this a really weird thing that happened where it's kind of some infighting between two VPs of the company. They ended up doing some weird stuff, some layoffs and restructure, and I ended up getting the axe there relatively quick without even good reason. It was just simply they were trying to go in a different direction, right? And so my introduction to the mortgage world was it's dog eat dog. And so I uh I learned that lesson really quick, but I was very fortunate that after that I landed with another company that was a big mortgage refi company. So like they held a lot of portfolio, and that's where I cut my teeth. That's where I learned how to really originate good loans, how to collect the information properly, and to make sure that I pushed things through the system. And so it was a really great experience. But that whole time, you and I, Palmer, we had always kind of talked about like one day we're going to end up working together again. One day we're this thing's going to come full circle. And so that happened, a few years ago. You asked me to come work for you at the branch you were at that time, and I did, and it was a great decision, although it didn't work out because I ended up leaving and going and working for the post office for a little bit just because I was a little burnt out at the time, had gone through a rough divorce. And this industry will do that. It'll chew you up and spit you out if you're not careful. It overworks a lot of people. And so, um, coming out of that, going and working and clearing my head at the post office, it was really good for me. But it was awesome too because, I realized like I miss helping people in mortgage. I miss doing what I can do. And I also realized like I can do more than just this. Like sticking mail in a slot is a little under my pay grade. I shouldn't be doing this, right? And so, it brought me back to a realization like I want to get back into mortgage. And I remember, like the day that you called me, it was really crazy because I was doing my route. And I remember the exact street I was on. It was like a U street. And so I was in this one part of the street right where the U is. And I just said, Lord, I don't really see myself being a mailman forever. And I want to get back in a mortgage, but I don't know how I'm going to make it work. And then like one block up, you call me. And I and at the time I was still working for you technically, but I was working the mail job, so I wasn't really working for you at your branch. And so you call me and I think like, oh, he's about to fire me. So
Sean, hey Sean, real quick,
yeah.
can you come drop off your laptop?
Yeah. Now that I'm telling the story. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking
That's what
I'm
I was
th
calling you for. Like it's like like God, please just show me, and then I call you. I'm like, hey, and you're like, oh my God, this is the sign, and you're like, hey man, can you come drop off your stuff?
Yeah, that would have been hilarious. Which you could have actually used that as an intro and it would have been totally understandable. But what you said was, "Hey man, I'm starting a new branch. I'm starting a new branch, new mortgage company, and I need your help. Are you in?" And we had a quick conversation, but it was very quickly confirmation that I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do and that God was answering my prayer. And it was the most amazing thing because I've been a Christian since I was 5. I've seen many prayers answered, but that was the most like instant answer to prayer that I have ever experienced. And it was so needed because I was coming out of this season of like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not doing exactly what I need to do in life. I didn't feel fulfilled in that way. And so you calling me, it was confirmation. And man, we've hit the ground running, and we've been together ever since, man. So I'm so excited about that opportunity and the future opportunities that we have together.
Yeah.
So that
I'm
was probably
still
more than five
Yeah.
minutes, but
I'm still 50 with if I'm excited about it.
you
I'm
said you're still 50-50.
hey, I'm still on the fence.
Hey,
No,
it's
I'm just kidding.
it's a big undertaking.
No, I think what we're doing is I think at the end of the day what we there's always that fine line of like what we want to do and then what we're called to do and what we're destined to do, right? Like, and in I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were talking about in Matthew um just kind of being in the place of how do they put it, man? Like um being comfortable with understanding how to surrender, like and just going like, yeah, this is what I need to do, and just like finding peace and surrendering there. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for us. We got many years ahead of us with all this stuff, and so hopefully we don't get fired for this podcast or something. So, Alex.
Um,
No, we're cruising so
um,
far. Yeah, we're not doing anything bad yet.
um, no, I guess where Sean kind of touched base, you guys I was at Wells Fargo, well, from Fort Worth. Um, I started working in the finance industry early on, like 2001, I believe, right whenever Wells Fargo actually was Norwest bought off Wells Fargo in the banking industry,
Yeah.
and they became Wells Fargo because they had been um, I guess the bank longer company. So, and I was kind of just over it. So I started working in part-time valet, and I was already quitting that, and then just kind of working valet and kind of just doing like, you know, just other pickup gigs and things like that. And um, that's where I met Shawn. And hit it off right away. Like you were saying, I mean, kind of like felt like, oh shit, we're like brothers pretty much. And have the same birthday and everything, just a year apart. So it was always like kind of crazy whenever we would tell people like, y'all kind of look alike, and yeah, we have the same birthday too. It's always funny to tell people that too.
Yeah.
And then started working at Open Road, and I went just straight part time at the valet business. Was working that kind of on the side, so I can still get the discount at the hotels and stuff because they were like $49 a night for the employee discount. So I was just working on Saturdays and Sundays, just making money. Me and Shawn making money and stuff. I was working at Wells. I mean, I went to the other company, and that's where I met Palmer, which was crazy. Palmer's a cool dude. Like, kind of hit it off, talked about music and things like that, and you know, partied a lot at that time. But I mean, that's really it. And then I went, still working there. Went through like a crazy time period of divorce, and wasn't working for like 15 months. And I think Shawn was like, "Hey, you should come work for us." And like we should all. I was like, we're like, let's get the band back together. He's like, let's get the band back together. Let's start all working. He was like, we might have a position for you, and kind of was like, I think I had reached out to Palmer, I think, and he wasn't really sure at the time, and was just kind of like, what wasn't sure, but it's a possibility. So I kind of just held it out a little bit. I prayed about it, and I was like, I had was like looking for jobs at the time, and like considering other work, and I was like, you know what, let me just ride it out a little bit and see. And sure enough, Palmer hit me up and was like, "Hey, I got this. I love the vision. I was like an opportunity to actually get to all work together again, and I thought that was great. And here I am, just learning more about the business and trying to figure things out as we go. All three of us basically are just kind of creating things as we go. It's been kind of cool
Yeah.
to be a part
Well,
of.
I think that's the
Built.
reason that we work, right? Is because we saw that, when we first met each other working in auto refinance, we kind of got a feel for the fact that, Palmer has a certain set of skills, Alex has a certain set of skills, I have my own skills, and so together we're creatively able to kind of bounce things off of each other and work well together. And so I think that has always worked well in just the dynamic of friendship. But then we knew, like, you know what? I think we can actually build on this and have something that goes beyond just friendship. We can build something together, and that would be, incredible. So I think that brings us like kind of to the next thing. But how, like, let's talk about the chemistry that we all shared when we first met, and how we got to know each other. I can say I'll start because I can say. Obviously I told you how I met Lex, but then I remember when Palmer came to work at the refi company, like I honestly, he was a bit much for me. Like my personality is I'm pretty even keel. I'm pretty laid back and he came in like he just came in with this energy that I was just like, I don't know about this guy. And I remember Lex, being like, "Hey, man, we're gonna go hang out." I don't remember what it was we were doing, but we were doing something, and I invited Palmer, and I was like, "Oh man, you invited Palmer? Like, I don't know about that guy." But it turned out all right because he quickly grew on me, and I got to understand a little bit more about who he was and what he was about, and yeah, he had this vibe that was a little bit larger than life at the time. I think he's dialed it back quite a bit. Being a husband and a parent will do that to a person. But
Yeah.
um,
That's what it, yeah.
You said
I think, I
what?
think,
Team
I,
is holding me back. Have you guys, Sean, as you were talking, I was thinking about it. Have you seen the saying or heard the saying? It was like, have you ever thought about like that you are the villain in somebody's story? Like,
You know, I
like,
can tell you I'm liked by like 99% of people, but the
yeah,
1% that hate me, boy, they really,
yeah. No, I'm
really
just like,
don't like
somebody is like, they're laying down, they're like going to sleep. And they're like,
me.
oh, that guy, Shawn, like they might not even know your name. Like they just see your face
They
and
know
they're
my name.
just so frustrated with you.
I feel that 100%. I was
Yeah,
like,
I feel like
yeah.
that's where Sean's story was going with me.
No,
And
it's turned out well. You've grown on me a lot, and I'm very glad and grateful for our friendship.
yeah. Um, one of the things that I wanted to kind of highlight on for this is you know we kind of went over the why a little bit, right? But like what is I don't know, it kind of seems like I guess my question was like why mortgages, but as I'm kind of like listening to you guys, I just kind of dragged you into it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, listen, you called me and you basically were like, "Hey, man, you're not making enough money working at that place. You should come work with me, and we'll
Yeah.
kill it.
Like
We'll
that's
kill
where
this
that's
industry together."
I've got like the list of questions that we built out, and one of them is like why mortgages, and I'm just like, yeah,
Because
like your
Palmer,
guys is why mortgages is
I,
like I just recruited you very
yeah,
I
well.
think
this
it's kind of
guy,
like, but also too, like, we kind of drag each other into a lot of crap, sometimes,
Yeah,
but
very
like,
true.
and we trust each other with it no matter what.
Yeah,
And I think that was like a big reason why we're here, because we trust each other.
yeah,
no,
that's
100%.
true, man. I mean, like I think like anybody that's listening to this that is kind of like what mortgages, what are mortgages, like it's like this freeing but not freeing kind of like industry. It's a really weird dynamic. And kind of what I mean by that is like, you know, Sean, Alex, myself, we're all working from home right now, right? And there's a lot of people that work from home in different places, but you know, there's not a whole lot of other industries where it's like, the week before, it's like, hey, let's do a podcast. And then they're like, cool, when do we want to do it? Let's pull up our calendars 2 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, right? You
Yeah.
know, and everybody else is like, well, I got to do some, I got work, and then I can do it, like on a Saturday or something, but like this is kind of work for us, right?
Yeah.
Like this is fun, but and that's just it's the weird dynamic with mortgages is I would just say maybe just real estate or just our industry is like you anything that you really do is you can write off as work, right? Go to the you go to the that's why a lot of people are in it. I think that's why a lot of people are in an industry go play golf,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna go schmooze a real estate agent or a title company or vice versa. I'm gonna go schmooze a loan officer, bank exec. We'll go hit nine holes or play an 18 or something like that on a Tuesday. It's like, well, that's not really work. It's like, but we're networking. We're talking about work. We're networking. It's just
We don't do enough of that, by the way. We should do more.
we don't. That's why one of the things that I just it's really tough for me to network if I'm being honest. Um, it's like I bought this book and I haven't read it. But like How to Talk to Anybody. I can't even remember who it's by. I don't know. I'm looking at my shelf. But like I bought it because I'm like I need to
Which
learn
one
how
is
to
it?
talk to anybody. You
How to
know?
say anything to anybody?
What's that?
How to say anything to anyone?
How to say anything to anybody. Oh, that's
I feel like you're pretty good at that. I was,
no, but like when I go to networking events, like I've got one. I told you I was invited to one next Tuesday. And it's kind of funny because there's a I was invited to it by a real estate agent that I reached out to try to get a meeting, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." But I got this networking event that you should join, and you might meet some people, and we'll talk. It's like, it's not really a hard no, but it's not really a yes because the event is being sponsored by one of our competitors. So like, stuff like that. For me, I get anxiety because I'm like, man, I'm gonna go into this event. It's I don't drink, and it's like a drinking happy hour thing. And now is being sponsored by another mortgage company, another loan officer who's trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. So it's like, because I would have like I would host real estate like training classes at title companies. And or like I remember a couple of times I did like a home buyer, like an in-person home buyer seminar. Yeah, seminar. Yeah, webinars online, seminars in person. And like this like loan officer shows up. I'm like, you trying to buy a home? They're like, no, I'm just, here to meet people. The heck, man? Like, get out of here. Like, we did all the work to put this together. You can't come in here and start taking our clients, man. That's weak. So I don't know. Networking events are really weird. Like, do you guys like networking events?
I
I
mean, I'll
bet you,
be
Alex,
Uh,
honest.
you
Oh, go ahead. You
uh,
first, Alex.
DJ stuff? No?
I mean, I've been to a couple, but I do get a little weird sometimes, weirded out. Like, I don't know. I've been to like, I don't, I'm big at networking, but I like it to be organic,
Yeah. Yeah.
versus like, I feel like networking events also to me, it feels forced,
Yeah.
like I'd rather network organically. And I feel like I've built a big network on just that. Like,
Well, how do you network? What does that mean? How do you network organically? Like
just
what?
meet people and just communicate, just talk, like I'm
Yeah.
always all about like learning more about people that I meet. And I think
Couldn't you
that
do that
that
at a networking event though? Isn't that what it's
yeah, I
for?
mean you can do it like anywhere, honestly. Like you
Yeah.
can be somewhere out and it's organic. You know what I mean? Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Kind
But
of,
That
I think,
does. Yeah. So like
maybe.
yeah,
you're
I
saying
get what
you're
he's saying
saying that you
though.
don't, yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't want to go to like a designated event space.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it just as a kid, you can't don't call it a networking event.
Yeah. Just like, hey, we're going to the bar,
Well, I think for Lex, because I know him so well, and like yeah, no, yeah, so for those of you who don't know, he's also a DJ on the side, right? Like
Mhm.
that's his other business and his other
Love DJ
personality. And
Extra.
and I'm sure probably in that arena, it's much easier for you
Looking for
to
kids'
network
parties.
with people, right?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think, yeah. Oh, it's always been definitely makes that a lot easier. We're kind of like on the same. I mean, I don't know.
What
I
do you do?
just
What do you do? Like, what's your plan of attack, right? Like you go in, it's not a networking event, but it's like where people are networking, right?
yeah. I mean
So, but what
like
do you
my
do? You
plan of
walk up to
attack.
somebody and you're like, what do you like to do?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I
Really?
would
Okay.
yeah. Honestly, that's just how I've always communicated with people.
Why
And
don't you
like,
do that for the branch?
you want me to create a networking event for the brand? Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
you
I
could
definitely need
DJ.
to do better.
As
I feel
long as
like
we
for
don't call
sure.
it a
And like,
networking event, right? As long as it's not an event.
well, I have a realtor coming out from Austin
Yeah. You're
that I
like,
met.
Alex, hey, I need you to go to this bar real quick. Not a networking event. There's going to be real estate agents and other industry professionals there. I need you to go just talk to them.
Yeah,
Can you throw a
I
rave
mean,
specifically for people looking for a house? Can you do that?
honestly, that could be actually sounds kind of
You
cool.
That's
want it?
Throw a little
cool.
rave party.
Dude, house parties are like legitimate in
House party, we'll call it house party. That'd be
right?
sweet.
We
Like
could do it a
no,
house
no,
party in the
it's a
show
legit
house.
thing. What's that?
A house party in the show house.
Yeah. No, like there's a lot of real estate agents that I know will throw like house parties or yeah, it's a house party. It's like a new home party is kind of what it
Yeah.
is,
I mean,
for
I
their
like that.
clients.
I'm down.
Hey,
But
I think that would be cool, man.
it is super intentional though, because they're like, yeah, I'm gonna throw you a party, invite everybody and then they just work the room, and they're like, oh, you love this house? Yeah, could you see yourself in this house? Or or any house for that matter. Hey, do you own a home? You looking to buy? It's like it's a paid for networking event, and then you're getting like, the house that you help them purchase, and it's genius. But for us, we should do you know what I think my is more my speed, like those silent music parties where everybody's just wearing
With the
headphones and
headphones, yeah.
together.
Everybody's
I
dancing
think
in
it's
silence.
just that. Look, it's just that we just invite a whole bunch of people, and then it's just a looped recording of me going like
The silent disco.
first-time homebuyer webinar, and everybody's just standing around like,
But it's you playing your guitar too. You have to play guitar.
yeah, 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 okay, yeah, yeah, I'm
I'll play
down.
the cowbell. More
It's
cowbell.
What's the John, what's you've been in the industry for a little bit. What's the most rewarding client story you had? What was the story that happened that you were like, dang,
So I
we
had this
we
one
accomplished
client.
that?
Yeah, I can automatically tell you the story. Like I have it queued up in my brain because I had this one lady that she called me and I tried to refinance her once and it didn't work out for whatever reason, but I kept in touch with her. Maybe it was a credit plan issue or something, but the first time didn't work out. And then she calls me back a few months later and she tells me that she's got cancer and she really needs to refinance her house because she's struggling financially and she needs, money for whether it was for treatments, whether it was, just to have a more affordable payment, whatever it was, she was struggling. And so um, I ended up being able to help her the second time around. And she was such a blessing to me. She would call me all the time, and I'd be like, and I don't remember her name, unfortunately, but I would just be like, oh, hey, did you need anything? And she'd be like, no, I just wanted to call and tell you I love you. I just
Mm,
want to call and tell you thank you for being so awesome, right? Like she would just do this all the time. And this was around the time that I had been going through my divorce, and so there's a lot of raw emotions that I'm dealing with, trying to stay focused at work and stuff. And her I love yous just meant so much to me. And then she ended up leaving me a message one time, like a 3-minute message of her just telling, like, praying over me and telling me she loved me. And I kept that message on my recording until I left that company because it meant so much to me.
mm,
And even to this day, I wish I had been smart enough to play it and just tape record it because it was a blessing, right?
yeah.
And later on, I get a call a couple years later from her dad or her brother, her son, and he's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know my mom passed away,
Mm,
but she thought the world of you." And I mean, like,
yeah.
I'm just a loan officer, man. But
Yeah.
in that moment, that's when like the job that you do transcends what we're doing, right? It meant so much more. Like she became something so much more to me. She was a friend. She was someone that I confided in, that she prayed over me, that I prayed over her. I prayed
Mm,
over her on a recorded line,
mm,
while she was battling cancer multiple times, right? And so that relationship was so special. Like I said, I wish I still could remember her name, but this was, probably 8, 9 years ago now
yeah.
that this happened. Um, but yeah, that's when that's the best story that I can think of because it just meant so much to me. It meant so much to her, and it even meant something to her son.
Yeah. Yeah, where he like found you and then like called you, afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, no, and well, and he
Awesome.
was also inheriting the house, so I even tried to help him with the refi and everything. So I mean, but it was just the whole experience was just really beautiful to connect with someone that just was such an amazing person. She was
Mhm.
terrific.
Dang. Yeah, that's a good story, man. Yeah, it's missed a lot of times, that there's this kind of like ongoing joke in the industry is that like, we have the ability to we have the ability to have strangers, trust us with their financial documents, but the people that we know more intimately, like friends and family, tend to not use us. It's kind of like it's to me it's an ongoing joke,
Oh,
But
it's
it's
true.
for those that are listening, like a lot of times, close people don't really want us to see like their true financial things because they're being exposed. But like, as you talked about with your story, that lady, like, you know because of the unveiling of everything, and you were able to help her out with so much in understanding that, there's a level of like an emotional connection in some instances. I mean, we
Well,
have helped a ton of first time. I mean, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, maybe one, but just all the first time home buyers, right? Like I think like the ongoing thing that I always get amped up about when talking to a first time home buyer for the first time is we're like doing like our initial consultation. And I'll ask them like, how did you come, like, how are we speaking right now? Where did you got referred to me by an agent, or you found us, or whatever, your financial advisor, whomever, said, hey, look, Palmer knows what he's doing. Give him a shout. Where were you at that moment? Like, where did you go from like, oh, I want to buy a house? Like, what are the next steps? But one of the questions that I usually ask, or I should say better, maybe position, is you get I don't know what the first step is. So I reached out, or I wanted to talk to you, right? And a lot of what I tell them is like, well, the first step is this. You've already taken the first step. Good job. Like most people don't take that first step because they get fatigued. We talk about it on the webinar that we do, like they get stuck in this trap where they talk themselves out of it. I can't do it, or they Google a bunch of stuff and then they find out that, like, oh, it's like, when you Google like my lower back hurts and it's like, oh, you got foot cancer. It's like, what? No, it's not even connected, but they talk to themselves out of it. Where I'm going with this is that, like your story, first time home buyers for me in general are really rewarding because the majority of them are like, bro, I didn't even know I could do this. I didn't know this was a thing that I could see. And in the whole process goes so fast for them too. Where like at the end of the day, like we'll call them like, a couple weeks after closing, do our post-close process. And they're like, yeah, I still can't believe that this is real. The one story for me that sticks out is probably one of the first loans I did. This guy named Larry. Larry, I was friends with him on Facebook for a little bit. He's an older guy. He was an engineer. He got kind of weird on Facebook,
I had one like that too.
yeah, I was
I
like,
had to block him.
man, there's some stuff I don't want to be like, I don't want to see this, kind of deal. And but anyways, he I think he had just gotten over cancer, and he was moving. I can't remember. He was moving out like to Weatherford, no, not Weatherford. He was moving out to like south of Mansfield or something like that. And found like a house. This was like, I think he was on the outs with like his kids or something. Like, he was a little bit of estranged. And I knew he had a bad back. I think it was a bout with cancer, or just gotten through it or something like that. And I was just talking to him and I was like, so, you excited about moving in? He's like, I am, but, not really, because it's just me and my wife. And he was in his like early 60s, still working and stuff. And he's like, I don't have the motivation to move at all, like to do this. Like he's basically, I calculated it out. I've got two trailers that I need to set up. I was like, okay, well, dude, I'll come help you move. And like I showed up to his house and like we moved like all of his furniture and stuff. And he ended up inviting Marissa and Addie and I, a couple weeks later, he cooked us like some steak dinners and stuff. And that was the last time I saw him outside of like some of the Facebook stuff. But he was a nice guy, man. And I think that story sticks out because I could have been like, oh, good luck with that. Like start
Yeah.
closing,
That took someone's information.
yeah, like let me refer you to somebody who's going to charge you money for that. And I'm not disparaging against anybody that has a moving company, not at all. Like you got to make you got to make your ends meet. But I guess where I was at was like, I was like, you know what? I'm compelled. I'm compelled to go help this guy. Did I want to do it? No. Physically, no. But like mentally, I was like, yeah, this is something that I should do. And I went and helped him move all day. It was hot. It was like during this, it was like June, dude. I was
Oh
working with
yeah.
I was working with Rubinek at the time.
Oh
Uh
okay.
where were we? Were we family first funding? Oh, I don't know if we're
I
no,
think probably you were. I
mortgage.
think that's where you were with him.
Yeah, we were at Town Mortgage. Not Town Square, Town Mortgage. It was a company
Okay.
based broker based out of uh Tom's River or Michigan. No, it was Michigan. Um, yeah, those fun times, man. Fun times.
Yeah, that's crazy. So do you want to start the Meridian Moving Company next?
Good. You know what? I've been going to Claude and trying to like figure out, okay, what can I automate? What can you automate for me that will generate $35,000 a month without me doing anything? And I don't know if
Yeah,
AI can figure out how to do that with a moving company. Sure, let's go for
let's
it.
do it.
I legit
I'm moving in
would,
4 weeks, 6 weeks.
I would not, I would legit like have to pass on that. Like, I'd have to leave the company. I'm tired of moving. I'm over it.
We're gonna do like a Friday huddle, one of our Friday huddles, and be like, "Hey guys, new direction here. We're getting out of putting people in houses. Now we're getting into putting stuff in people's houses. Starting a moving company."
I
Let's
mean, I like I'll do it for
follow
a
the
little
money.
bit. Then, like, there's a point. Like, I can't. I've moved too many times in my life. And
We've helped you move way too many
I'm
times in
tired
your
of
life.
it.
True
I would
story.
never ask you guys to help me move ever again.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I think I've done my part. I want to say I helped you move at least three
I'll
times.
never move you, Sean. That's you're the worst one.
That
Actually, you're the
was
worst person.
truly the worst.
With
Okay,
all these
that
little
was I
trinkets and
agree.
like
I was a
all these
terrible
little
friend.
knickknacks he has. Like, who has these little knickknacks?
I had so much stuff. I thought so because I used to have this one bedroom apartment over in Arlington, and I was moving to a three
Oh, dude, I
bedroom.
remember Alex telling me this story.
I remember I was moving to a three bedroom, and I thought like, oh, this will be the easiest move ever. I just have like
Oh,
a bed, a TV, and a bunch of small stuff. No, it was so horrible. And the funny thing is, I knew that they were renovating that apartment, and I wasn't getting like any kind of a deposit back or something. So we just left a bunch of stuff in the living room. We just gave up. It was the worst move ever.
yeah. Like I don't just understand like the things he had. Like I can't even remember some of the stuff he had. It was like, bro, like what are you doing with this? Like this doesn't even make sense. Like you have these little like bedtime water dispenser thingy. Like
It's probably something
I'm
my mom bought me. You know, it's
so weird.
like. Yeah, I remember that. I was definitely a terrible friend for that one.
Yeah, I remember that story because Alex is like, dude, you will not believe Shawn. Like, I just helped Shawn move, and like, he just has so many small things,
Nothing packed.
nothing packed. He's like, how do you even have all this stuff in this one
It
bedroom
was on
apartment?
honestly, it was the first time I'd ever moved because when I moved to that place, it was from my parents' house, and I just had a bed, and then I bought furniture. So that was really the first time I ever had to like experience moving. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was a rookie. I'm sorry, but
So I think we're what are we at? Shawn, do you see a timer? We sitting at
oh
about an
yeah,
hour or
we're
so?
sitting at probably about 70 minutes there, but I would
Yeah.
I would say we could wrap it up with just a few things.
Yeah. So, thanks for listening to all of us, the three dudes at a table, three men at a table thus far. If you've made it this far, appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Wherever this podcast ends up living, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like, subscribe, all the good stuff that the kids say. I think my kids say this all the time. They're like taking a photo or like recording something on their iPad, and they're like and subscribe. And like, you're just recording a video. Like, what are you doing? But do that for us. And then so kind of what the teaser, Alex, give them the teaser of what we're doing. Like I think next week we've got, I didn't tell you guys this, but I'm telling it to you now. And then I asked you to tell us, and then I'm telling.
Wait, you want me? You want me to read your mind?
One of my favorite people, Michelle Crete. She's a loan officer, a rock star loan officer that has been in the industry for over 23, 24 years, right? She's going to come on for next week's podcast, where we're going to make her feel really welcome and also uncomfortable. No, I'm just kidding. Ask her some questions about some of the stuff that she's seen in the industry, and what she's doing in her business, and just talk through it. But what else can the viewers expect to hear and see from our face holes?
Man, I think just, buckle up because I think we're only just getting started, right? And
Yeah,
hopefully you got to see a little bit of our personality starting to shine through as we settled into this first episode here. But I think this thing can go anywhere because I know us and I know where our conversations go. So I think this could be a lot of fun, and we'll probably be all over the place. But
yeah,
expect to laugh a little and expect to learn something.
Cool.
yep. Shout out,
Shout out. Did you say shout out or chow down?
shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, look, I think this is going to be a great hub spot for anybody that wants to continue to listen to us. And we'll, now that we've got the icebreaker episode out of the way, kind of who we are, where our upbringing is. I mean, we'll always gravitate towards like sprinkling that information back in. But for future episodes, if you're looking to jump on, you want to be a part of this as far as like somebody that's in our industry, again, insurance agents, inspectors, real estate agents, and you want to come on and talk, like just reach out to us. You can always hit us up. We'll give them, Alex, give them our hotline number.
The hotline number is 817. Wait, that's not it. Hold on. Is that three? Wait, hold on. Hotline number?
You don't have it memorized yet.
All right, just shoot us an email at
Yeah.
hollandteam@loans. We'll have the
It's
hotline
because
number dialed
it's
in.
because I'm always using the regular line, my line.
Yeah. No. So yeah, just shoot us an
Just
email, hollandteam@meridian.loans. Shoot
you
us a
can
message on whatever the platform this is
you can
on.
call me 817-305-7662, and
Yeah,
I'll
there you go.
I'll set up the appointment for you.
Send them some
There you go.
saucy messages. But yeah, so it'll be really fun. A lot of good guests, a lot of good info. And then people that are not in the industry at all, ideally, you'll learn some things. We'll talk to you about how to improve your credit, how to explore, first time home buyer programs, or how to look at, some of the new tax benefits, like with the bonus depreciation and things like that are out there. So information, right? So yeah, that's all I got. I guess we just sign off. We just like put our hands up, like, hey,
Deuces.
goodbye. All right, join
Later,
us
Until next time.
later, see y'all.
time. Cool.
Pasa solo